Welcome back. We're outside the federal prison in Yazoo City, Mississippi. Tonight, former Border Patrol agents Ramos and Campion are behind bars. Ramos in the prison right behind us. And joining me now is the man at the center of the case, the federal prosecutor who decided to put Ramos and Campion behind bars. I'm joined now by U.S. Attorney Johnny Sutton. Good to have you with us.
Hey, Lou. Thanks for having me on.
I, as you know, disagree with your decision to prosecute this case about as vigorously as anyone could. But I want to give you credit and respect for having the wherewithal to stand here and put yourself before the public as we examine this case. And I mean that sincerely. Now, as we turn to the case itself, why did you decide that an illegal alien drug smuggler from Mexico was more credible than two U.S. sworn agents of the federal government?
And first of all, thank you so much for allowing me this chance to get the information out. There's been so much misinformation about this case that, frankly, I don't blame people for being upset. If I thought that two American heroes were going to prison for doing their job and a drug smuggler was going free, I'd be hacked off as well. But those are not the facts in this case. This was a 2.5-week jury trial, a West Texas jury that's not inclined to convict police officers easily, and they convicted these guys of a number of violent crimes. And the reason they did is because they were guilty. The information in this case has been distorted in so many ways, but what really happened was these two guys shot at an unarmed guy who was running away from them. Instead of reporting it, they covered it up, they destroyed evidence, and filed a false report. We can't do that. That is against the law, and that's a big problem.
That's a big problem, many big problems in this case. One of the problems with what you just said is the facts are controverted. That is, whether or not that drug smuggler was armed or not armed.
Right.
Secondly, both agents say that they thought he did have a weapon. I find it astonishing that Chief Barker says that they did not say that. The attorneys controvert him as well. But the idea of making a decision to prosecute this case and to have the Department of Homeland Security, not the Federal Bureau of Investigation, initiate the investigation is peculiar. Why was that decision taken? Why was that the origin of the case?
Well, because it originated in Homeland Security. The Inspector General's office of that agency was the first agency to start investigating. The FBI was notified. They said, you've got a good agent on the case, let him go forward. But I think we need to get back to the drug smuggler.
But we also need to be clear. The FBI was not investigating this case.
That's right. They originally were given a heads up about the case. They realized there was a good agent on it, and they said, you go with it, you investigate.
So this case began with what? With a complaint from the Mexican consulate?
And that's the great irony. I mean, had these agents been American heroes, when they shot at somebody, they would have explained it, and they would explain why they shot. But instead of explaining, they covered it up.
Do you think they knew that they'd hit?
Of course they knew. In fact, Agent Campion wrote it in a handwritten statement that they had hit him. He said, Nacho fired the last shot. I think we hit him because he started limping, and he went into the river and walked slowly out. I mean, Campion says that in his own handwriting. Right. So they knew that they hit him at the scene, and instead of reporting it like every other agent would have done and explained why they used deadly force, they covered it up, they destroyed the evidence, and filed a false report. And I don't think once people in America find out the facts, they're going to say, oh, that's just fine. We don't, we want agents like that on the line, and we don't.
I'm not so sure that we don't want agents like Ramos and Campion on the line. What I think is sort of interesting here is a decision that is made in basically Washington, D.C. to prosecute this case. It wasn't made.
That's not true. These cases, we tried 5.
The Mexican consulate contacted whom?
The Mexican consulate wrote the standard letter that they always write in these kind of cases.
You're sure it's a standard letter?
These cases, well, I don't know. The letter was sent to Homeland Security, but I can tell you that this case originated like any other case that we try in El Paso. We try 5,000 felonies in our district. We lead the nation in drug prosecutions. Right. We prosecute these smugglers every day. That's what we do every day. And all Agent Campion had to do was put the handcuffs on Aldretti, and that guy would be sitting in prison.
Hey, that's what he was trying to do, wasn't he?
Well, no, he wasn't what he was trying to do. What the jury heard is that Agent Campion, instead of arresting a guy whose hands are in the air, everybody agrees he had no weapon, hands were in the air, and instead of putting the handcuffs on him, he decides to hit him in the head with a shotgun. He does a pratfall into the ditch, and then now the smuggler's free to take off running, which he does. And then they open fire on him with 15 shots. And instead of explaining why they did it, instead of explaining why they used deadly force, they covered it up, they lied about it, and they filed a false report. That is a huge problem.
With how many Border Patrol agents present?
There was, at the time of the shooting, there was 3 Border Patrol agents.
In total, within the matter of minutes.
There was 3 there. Agent Vasquez comes up later. He helps dispose
Total
of the
9
shells.
agents with 2 supervisors, with radio traffic. Correct.
Yeah, again, that's another huge part of misinformation. Is
Well,
those
it's not
supervisors did not show. Well, that's why we have jury trials, Lou. I mean, we tried this in a jury. In West Texas, juries do not convict agents on a whim. I mean, they give these guys a benefit of the doubt.
How many juries do you have come back with 3 jurors telling you that they were misled by the foreman?
Well, let me just say that it is not unusual for jurors after the fact, after they realize they've had
I kind of want to watch out for West Texas.
Well, what they do is these are hard decisions for jurors. It's a hard case.
Well, it wasn't a hard decision for you to decide to take the word of an illegal alien drug smuggler and give him immunity.
Well, that's because the case was overwhelmingly strong. I mean, once these agents commit a number of felonies, once they shoot at an unarmed guy running away, and instead of explaining why they used deadly force, once they do that, the case is destroyed. There's no case, and there's no evidence against Compion.
Why is it that you said that this drug smuggler had not been involved in any other subsequent drug cases?
Now, no one said that. I mean, that's another great irony of this, is there's the alleged October load and that the evidence was suppressed. All that evidence regarding the alleged October load was presented to the court. The court made a ruling on whether that was admissible. The court said it's not admissible. It's put under seal. Why?
What was your recommendation?
Because it's an ongoing investigation. We're still trying to arrest bad guys out of that thing.
You're trying to arrest bad guys. You had a bad guy in your grip.
Exactly.
And you said at one point that you had to give him immunity to get his testimony.
Right.
This is a drug smuggler working for a cartel. Do you know what cartel he's working for?
Absolutely. Well, no, I don't know what cartel. We work against the cartels every day. I mean, that's my business.
What cartel?
Is to take down the cartel.
You gave the man limited use immunity 6 days after you began talking with him.
Now, remember, and that's what's so important the American people get the facts on this. This shooting goes down. Our agents shoot 15 times at an unarmed guy. They cover up. They lie. They file false reports. We wouldn't even know about this case had not we got information from another Border Patrol agent that got information from the family.
We're going to have to be real quick. We'll be right back. We'll have more from U.S. Attorney Johnny Sutton. Stay with us. We'll be right back.